Hello everyone. How are we doing tonight? Musical Chef, congrats on first. Hope you're doing well. And how has your weekend been? Today's Sunday. I've been just plopping streams all over the place. Hope that's okay. um, but tonight I have a little free. I had a good day today. Let's see. In the morning I just chilled at home. I went to have dinner at my boyfriend's parents, and then we made dessert, which was really good. And we watched Criminal Minds, and I made burgers for dinner. And that's my Sunday. And yesterday I went to see the Christmas market, which was cool. I ate a cookie. Oh, did the stream restart? Well, congrats on first again, musical chef. You are a real one. That's weird. On my OBS it continued. I don't know what's wrong with Twitch then. It's not an OBS problem. In my OBS it says I've been live for 17 minutes. I wish I could tell you what was going on. I wish I could. But yeah, that was my weekend. I had fun. What else did I do yesterday? Besides the Christmas market? What did I have for dinner yesterday? Ah, we had a Christmas dinner too with my boyfriend's friends, which was really cool. And they came to see the lights in the city and everything. That was really cool. Really had a good time. I went to bed late. And I woke up at like 10:30. And that's fine. I needed to sleep. That's how the day has been going. Well, in any case, the plan is I do about 2 hours today, 2 hours on Tuesday. Or honestly, if I see that I can finish the game today, I will, because there's about 4 hours left of content. About 4 hours, not exactly 4 hours. If I do 2 and 2, if I do, I don't know. We'll see how the day goes. But I have some tea here, which I will be sipping. So cheers. Oh yeah, that's good. I might have to do another tea in the middle of the stream like I did the other time, and I will be absent. However, it's for a greater good. All right, let's open this game. Let's turn on my controller too while we're at it. Let's go here. Let me do this. All right. And open up the devil. Oh my god. Whenever I open this game, my monitors just go so weird. Okay, it's working. This is a work of fiction. And let's continue where we left off. We were finishing up interrogating the girlie from the company. And yeah, we got a message from a friend, and that's where I left off. I'm running out of leads to chase. The brat better have good news. I'm gonna put my microphone a little closer. All right. Are you really going to take this to court? That's my plan. The circumstances may be irregular, but I'm still defending a client from a criminal charge. It's my responsibility to argue that he's not guilty of what he's been accused of. And is that what you believe? That he didn't commit suicide? I guess I haven't decided what I believe. Okay, 4:21 p.m. in transit. Would you kindly slow the hell down? I'm sorry, Adonai. Was I talking too quickly for you? Oh, walking. That wasn't walking, that was speed walking. Up 2 flights of stairs. It's very different. Speed walking? Sounds like a powerful technique. Is it like the Junjiao? Just let me catch my breath for a minute. Adonai, is it possible that you are No. Oh my god, her face. No. But since we left the cab, your heart rate has... I'm not wearing the right clothes. Or the right shoes. Is that so? Yes. I didn't stretch or hydrate, and the sun's reaching its zenith. That would have been several hours ago. Do you mean the air temperature? You said it would be a short walk from street level, so I prepared myself mentally for a short walk. Then you took off like a rocket, and you didn't mention we'd have to go upstairs. Are you sure this place is even back here? The reviews online were quite clear. It's worth the trouble finding it. Maybe if you're a mountain climber. When I sent Fred hunting for a musician in David's circles, I expected them to bring me someone from the city orchestra or a jazz club. The champagne, flute, and tea kind of musician. But this is the tequila and neon part of town. It should be in view if we turn... Adonai, be careful. Of what? Oh. It's a stray, and it's bearing its fangs too. It could be carrying diseases. You should... Relax. Adonai, it's growling. It's not growling at me. See? So it's just me that it doesn't like. Too much static. How'd you get it to calm down? It's an animal, not a monster. It wants to be calm. Do you like animals? What kind of cold-blooded freak doesn't like animals? Do you have a pet? Nope, never have. Why not? Because I don't want to take care of a pet. That seems counterintuitive to me. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, and I don't need to make sense to you. But you notice you're only this talkative when it's just the two of us. Just an observation. Mm-hmm. You shy or something? Did David program you to have android anxiety? It's generally only appropriate to respond to comments that are addressed to oneself. Oh, so it's just autistic. It's fine, guys. Come on. Today, I have rarely been addressed directly by people other than you. In other words, you're shy. Also, can we just talk about the whole booba situation we have going on screen? Because, like, woof. Because, like, woof. I'm gonna take it for no reason. Keep it for later. Can I try petting it? There's no law against it. Okay, 426. Ultraviolets. This is the establishment. Now to see if Isaac Porter is an habitual... Oh, is as habitual as Fran claims. Do you think Father was close with this man? This man you've never met? I think he was close with him, yeah. At some point. I had some help making that deduction. Fran saw that their metadata showed a significant cooling of interaction between the two of them, particularly over the last month. Let me just... Okay. But Fran also saw a phone call. Between the two last night. So they were close. Do you think they were sleeping together? Who knows? That is completely inappropriate for me or anyone to speculate about. Inappropriate? Adonai, it's only... I'm getting a very important text message from my private investigator. Excuse me. Did you catch that killer yet? No. The hell? I sent you his paws. I'm at his position. I haven't spoken to Porter yet. Anyway, there's no reason to suspect him right now. Lame. Surprised you're invested all of a sudden. Isn't David Asher a corporate sellout in your eyes? Everyone's a corporate sellout. But Asher gets respect. If I'm a demolitions expert, he's like a really good architect. That's almost sweet, I think. Asher started working out in the cube. So, in the architect analogy, but by today's standards, he's like, I don't know. As a kid, he built all his bricks by hand or something. You know that lit homework can help you with forming analogies. This analogy. Did that come through or did the characters break? It's supposed to be a guy giving you the finger. I take it Q is a programming language. What's special about it? Pretty much anything coded in the last 20 years is web-based. You code with the assumption that you will always be connected. So you can depend on having fat libraries of references to lean on, and if something does go wrong, your errors get reported to you automatically. But not Q. You can look it up. But basically Q was originally for robotics and like machinery. Stuff that had to operate in mines under the ocean. Middle of nowhere fields with zero signal service. So Q had to be self-sufficient. How rugged. Where'd Asher learn Q anyway? It's older than dirt. From like the 40s. I don't know. I think his father had a machine shop or something. Vague. Yeah, well, David didn't like to talk about his family. And I never asked. What did your private investigator have to say at the night? Not telling. Okay, a bar is stocked full of colorful selections and busy bartenders. Hope this isn't the kind of club you can order food in. Only time bar food is any good is when you're drunk enough to forget the taste in the gap between chewing and swallowing. So you can like eat things? Yes, I can. What, like Android food? There is no such product. So what do androids eat? Online user guides for Noble's War models clarify that they don't have to eat anything in the traditional sense. They get their energy from electrical charging, usually wireless. Whenever they need to eat, it's to replenish specific vitamins and electrolytes. Sounds like sounds a lot like what mod users go through with their sports drinks and energy bars. And charges separation anxiety. According to the net, warm androids can ingest nutrient-rich processed carbohydrate pellets if they need to forego electrical charging long term. Processed pellets? You mean like kibble? Like dog food? No, it is not like dog food at all. Can you buy it from the pet store? It seems that you can. How is this something you have to look up anyway? Because I've already just eaten what father gave me. Like what? Marbled beef, never hydroponic avocados, foie gras, that sort of thing. I am not paying for any of that. That one over there. He matches the photo Brand sent. Should I approach now or look some more? No, let's look around some more. Better get a read on the room first. The stage for talent, pretty close to the floor. Guess it fits with the whole round table aspect of this place. Everyone's on more or less equal footing, dancing in the dark once you get past the bouncer. Do you think they might have met here? David and Porter? I can't see David walking in here. Because you found the walk so challenging? Because it's too loud to relax and not dark enough to be anonymous. I see. What's that face? You got an opinion to share? The atmosphere is not bad in here, but the music isn't quite... I'll find you a survey to fill out before we leave. What kind of music does an android even like? Early 21st century punk rock. Is that just you, or does that go for all androids? I haven't met all androids. I can't speak for them. Wonder what they say. If they're smart, they say the music peaked with the early 21st century punk rock. Is Twitch still working? My browser is glitching. Okay, I think it is. Alright. Let me sip my tea. Debate settled. What kind of reading material gets laughed at in a club? A tabloid interview? Okay. Exclusive sit down with luxury. You've heard her name on everyone's lips, you've seen her face in magazines and commercials, and then double check to make sure the photos weren't labeled as edited. Now, get all your burning questions about her answered here in our exclusive interview with a mysterious young woman who's being called, and perhaps the only truly unanimous vote the net's ever seen, the most beautiful woman on the world. Why the name? People think it's an ego thing, but it was just a random username I picked back when I was grassroots. Then it was a pseudonym to give it a little shade from all the attention. Now it's a brand and I can't change it without setting stock market into a spin, so let me try and... Okay, let's do that. You're certainly influential after partnering with you. Inti saw a 3,000% increase in share price. Yay, I'm happy for them, of course, but to be honest, it's a pain at times like this. Hey, yo, sorry I'm late. That's fine. How you been? We started a bit ago. Not much has happened. We went to find the musician that was probably friends with David Asher, and we're exploring the club before we talk to him. But how you been? I hope you've been doing good. How's your Sunday? Doing good, and you? Very good. I'm having my tea, playing some video games. Life's good, you know. She gestures towards her clothes, a plain white t-shirt and gym shorts with no branding visible. On anyone else it might seem sloppy or even unflattering. On her it only makes her natural beauty stand out that much more. Who are you wearing, by the way? Can't wear anyone unless I'm attending something. If I don't dress like this, all my sponsors fall into bidding wars every time I leave the house. Does it stress you all the attention? Stress is bad for your skin, right? They say mine is flawless. Can't argue with that. So do you have a skincare routine? Any tips you'd like to share? Be a little bratty, act like a little spoiled. Keeps you young. And how old are you exactly? Everyone's dying to know. 18 to 29, now and forever. Don't get stuck with... Okay. Well, however old she is or isn't, Luxury's got one hell of a mind for business. It might do her more good than that face in the end. Maybe. It's one hell of a face. In the meantime, she's... powerful. Some rises are too meteoric for even the Megs to grab the reins on. At this point, Luxury's got them all at the mercy. She can send their stocks into disarray with one selfie. Good for her. Okay, yeah, that's him, alright. He's cute. Damn. Looks like he's killing time before he sets tonight. Are you unsure how to proceed, Adonai? I'm sure that you need to hang back. As for me, I'll play it straight. Isaac Porter? What's up? My name's Morgan. I was David's friend. Right now, I'm his lawyer. Can we talk? Depends. Were you a friend from work? No. Over here. Thanks, Isaac. Don't thank me yet. I might just sit here, shut my mouth, and stick you with that tab. So what kind of lawyer are you? What kind of friend? I'm his defense attorney. Think you missed a bus on that one, then, yeah? And I'm a friend that needs to know what happened yesterday. Doesn't everyone? Try something else, friendly lawyer. I haven't seen him in weeks. You might not have seen him, but we both know that you spoke with him on the phone yesterday. Only a short time before he died. How the hell? Isaac. It's pretty obvious that you don't want this particular spotlight to linger on you any longer than necessary, so why don't we cut to the chase? No lies, no playing coy. Fine. Sarah. Yes, Adonai? The hell? Is that thing transmitting? I'm not streaming any data, no. But it doesn't seem to recognize Sarah either. One more person David was keeping secrets from. I need to record everything for the court. Fine. You two were together, is that correct? We were together, I ended it. Yesterday. Oh no! No! Care to elaborate on our entire relationship? Look, you can tell me everything once and I can get it on the record, or you can hear the same questions over and over again from 1,000 different cops and Megs from the next 3 months. We met in a bar. I had seen him come in a few times, each time with someone else. Each time talking with his mouth but not looking with his eyes. It ticked me off. Wait, let me get a print screen, because he is cute. Scribbling on napkins and letting his single gin and tonic sweat onto the table for hours. His dates would all go to the bathroom or take a call and slip out the back. One of them didn't make it in 10 minutes. And he'd still sit there for the rest of the night, unfazed. Couldn't tell if he was oblivious or stupid or shameless or the most confident man in the world. And it ticked me off. One night, things were slow and my set had been cancelled and his date hadn't even bothered to think of an excuse before bailing, so I asked him why he insisted on coming there night after night, just to ignore vague people he wasn't interested in at a shitty bar with drinks he didn't like. And he just said, "'Cause I like your music." Man, did that tick me off. It was cute early on, him being so passionate about work I could barely pretend to understand. And I liked that we gave each other space, you know. Felt like we were being mature or whatever. Until there was no until. No one day where everything turned sour. But at some point, I started to understand where his priorities were and how I ranked in them. Like I said, he was passionate about work. I just wrongly assumed that he would also be that passionate about me at some point. So I pulled away a little, wanted to see if he'd notice, if he'd miss me. Testing him like that isn't the biggest red flag in the world. He never budged. I could ignore him for days and he wouldn't be the least bit ashamed to see me. If I picked a fight, he'd never get angry or upset. He'd just apologize. He didn't want to fight with me. Guess he was never invested enough to bother. It was my mistake. I watched him sit there all those nights, not giving a shit when people walked away, and still, I had this stupid idea that somehow, for whatever reason, I would be different. That I would be special. But I wasn't, so I ended it. Last night, I called him. Didn't expect he'd pick up. I had everything prepared to leave a message with an assistant or ad or whatever. But he answered. First ring. Without hesitation, shame, or awkwardness. And that ticked me off. So I told him exactly how valued he had made me feel the past few months. I told him exactly how insignificant I felt as the boyfriend of the illustrious Dr. David Asher. And what did he say? He apologized. And then he asked me if that was all I called to tell him. Woof. I hung up after that. Spent the rest of the night wrapped in a warm disdain for him and his coldness. He had made that easy for me. I went to sleep hurt, but clean, ready for something new. And then this morning I wake up to see that my ex killed himself 2 hours after he let me walk out of his life without so much as a don't. What the hell, man? What the hell, David? And now you're just the tip of an iceberg of lawyers and reporters and buzzards. Parasites want to hear about the man who sent David Asher over the edge. I never wanted to be his last lifeline or the straw that broke his back. I just wanted to be his goddamn boyfriend. Turns out that was asking for too much. It's yet to be determined whether David committed suicide. You serious? You don't have all the facts. And you do. Any one of them point to anything else? Thought so. Thanks for your time. I'll get back to you. I'll let you get back to it. That's it? No summons? The court has no need for you to retell a sad story like that. The court, huh? Sorry to bother you at work. Sarah, let's go. Your discography is very impressive. Yeah, thanks. And your range is remarkable. So it paid me to see that all your works in the last quarter have been so melancholy. I think... Well, what the hell would you know about any of that? What's the matter? Can't find the words? Need to steal them from somewhere first, butcher them before shitting them back out? I was not trained on any data sets that... Nah, pardon me. My mistake, really. Not your fault. You're only standing here because rich prick nerds were allowed to rob the world blind for most of the century. Sarah, we're leaving. The hell was that about? He was under the false impression that I was programmed using a massive automated learning model in early 21st century. Not that. Why'd you talk to him? I wanted to. I just felt that I should say something to him. A word of advice. People don't want comfort from strangers, especially when they're androids. They want it from people they want it from. Coming from anywhere else, it's just corn syrup on a parched tongue. Doesn't matter how sweet it is, they'll just start gagging. You know a lot about people, don't you, Adonai? Compared to you, I'm a goddamn savant. Come on, there's not much time left. Is there still somewhere you want to investigate? Somewhere I need to return to, actually. Porter was right. As things stand, I don't have any evidence that could establish an alternative interpretation of the facts. But if there did exist hard evidence that could prove his death wasn't a suicide, there's only one place I could find it at this point. I'm assuming we're going back to his house. Let me just skip here. 516. Oh, noble employee housing. Oh yeah, in about 20 minutes to 30, I'm gonna need a new tea. Penthouse basement. Oh yeah, we haven't gone there. The basement. Oh yeah, we have. You sure don't want to look at it? Don't want another look at the crime scene? I'm all out of time. Gotta approach this from the other angle. The other angle? You know, inductive versus deductive, flip the chessboard and all that. Haven't you ever read a mystery novel? I've seen mystery films. Well, let's see if you paid any attention then. What killed David Asher? Poison. 10 points. There's a point system? Now, how did that poison get into his bloodstream? He must have ingested it orally. And how do we know that? The medical examiner found no injection marks or wounds. And if he had inhaled it? Inhaled it? Why? Leave the whys to someone who actually understands them. I won't be able to understand anything if I don't practice. Practice by answering my question. I suppose it's possible. But highly unlikely. We would have found a delivery system for in the building, like an inhaler. Oh, an inhaler. Oh yeah, he doesn't use those. Right, an airborne poison is either shoved into your face or sprayed over a wide area, and no one around David has shown any kind of symptoms. So all we're left is oral intake. Eliminating the impossible. What's next, Adonai? Young's corroborated statement was that David didn't exhibit any irregular symptoms or behavior until he started drinking that night, and the police didn't find anything unusual in any of the food or drink in his home. Except for his cup, the results were inconclusive. Young was drinking from the same bottle in the same type of cup, but didn't get sick. We have to conclude then that David's cup alone was poisoned. That all seems logical and consistent with the police theory of suicide. So why are we down here? Minus 10 points. Back to 0? David left the parlor and came back with whiskey and 2 cups. Young told us as much, and apparently the cameras upstairs support a story. So we have to conclude then that he got them both from his bar. Better, 5 points. Did he also get the poison from the cabinet? The police have been here since we left. According to their ARC file, they didn't find anything that matches the poison down here. So the poison somehow went straight into his drinking cup then. I need to flip this around again. But if you turn something 360 degrees, you're just back to... If I were the prosecution, what would I want more than anything? Proof that David knowingly added the poison himself. He wouldn't do that. And you can make that claim because there's no video evidence to contradict you. How long was David off camera? From 7:36 p.m. to 7:40 when he left the parlor to get liquor from this bar. So, if we had David on camera for those 4 minutes and he didn't poison himself in that time, he would have a perfect alibi for the crime, proving his innocence. But Adonai, we don't have footage of that. There are no security cameras down here. I think there are. What do you mean? This whole building is coded head to toe in penumbra security systems courtesy of Noble. Every console, every corner, every android on every floor, it's all plugged into penumbra. Except that. That panel is manufactured by Quarter Security System. Why would David put a console for a different security system in exactly one corner of his penthouse? I've never given it much thought. Well, it's been bothering me all day, but my curiosity alone can't scale a 64-digit wall. You mean signal hijacking, whatever you want to call it. Have you tried it before? It is illegal and unnecessary. He would not install hidden cameras in his own home. At the end of the day, I can't make you do anything. Well, actually, I probably can now that you're registered to me. But aren't you the one who wanted to prove his innocence? Eliminate the impossible. I will need your express verbal command. Not like David can press charges against us at this point. Do it. Did you really need me to say that? For the purposes of record keeping, yes. I've gone past the 64-digit code, and I have found cameras. There are a number of them embedded in the room's wall and ceilings. As you theorize, they are on separate network from the rest of the building. Where are they feeding to, if not the penumbra system? Behind my hibernation unit. A false wall in the back of a safe. I don't understand. Why would Father possibly have a hidden system of cameras inside his own home? Bits me. He was brilliant and more than a little odd. Throwing a little money and odd becomes eccentric. I see, I think. I don't. The hell was he thinking? What was he afraid of? Why didn't he come for me for... Time's short. Gather facts now and leave the computation for later. What did David even do with all this equipment? Dry his laundry? What makes you so sure he wasn't what makes you so sure he wasn't exercising? Did you ever see him use any of the scrap? No, but he must have used the weights when I wasn't looking, since he promised me that he'd take better care of his health. Sarah, these weights are all maxed out. David couldn't have put his numbers like these even if he was piloting a frame. Don't be so sure, Adonai. Pardon? The following is a true story based on primary sources who were present for the events and its aftermath. Copenhagen, 1981, 8:10 local time. A towering man with the musculature of a world-class professional rugby player enters the global bank at Fredericksburg Lane.
He explains to the bank teller that he has a bomb in his suitcase and that he wants his gym bag filled with unmarked bills. A security guard approaches him from behind with a nightstick and swings, but the man simply catches the weapon and bends it into a twisted knot with his massive dinner plate-sized hands. When he asked to describe the suspect to the police afterwards, the teller had only this to say: "That man was all muscle." The rest of the bank heist proceeds without incident, and the man exits the building just as the police arrive on the scene when suddenly his suitcase explodes. But it's just a smokescreen. Local officers quickly recognize the ploy and rush towards the door, grabbing each of the hostages. They flee while desperately searching for the perpetrator. What they find instead is a diminutive, frail, sheepish young man barely 160 centimeters tall, holding a gym bag full of money with no recollection of how he got there. Renowned psychologist and trained hypnotist Dr. Werner Kurtzer wrote the following in his diagnosis: acute dissociative identity disorder. That's right, the man had a split personality. And so great was the disparity between his two halves when they switched control, he physically changed, becoming taller, bulkier, and capable of previously unthinkable feats of strength. So be careful what you say a man like Father can't do just because of how he looks on the outside.
Sarah, every single word you just said was false.
Huh?
Don't believe everything you read on the net. What's the story with this anyway? Some kind of fault in the foundation?
I don't know, I never noticed that crack before.
I don't want to get those eyes checked.
There's nothing wrong with my vision. This crack just must have created during my most recent hibernation.
How? Did David drop a weight a bunch of times over and over in the same spot? So is that the original?
It was appraised and confirmed to be genuine.
At least it didn't get ripped off. I'm a Philistine when it comes to this kind of stuff. What does an android see? Philistine?
I see a meeting. Or perhaps an encounter. Two apex forces of nature, two kings of the forest, the stag and the tiger. I think.
Great. I'm officially less cultured than the robot. The liquor cabinet this mystery hinges on. The police have been through it all by now, and they didn't find any foreign contents in any of the spirits. No poison to be found here. Well, not that kind of poison anyway. In which case, can I make you anything?
Well, if you're offering, I'll have...
Sorry, you're way underage, aren't you? 2 years old or whatever.
Technically.
Took that one a lot worse than I expected. Cheer up, maybe you'll find a mocktail if you climb to the top of the ladder.
This is a rolling ladder, a kind of step ladder, not a ladder.
What?
Remember, a ladder extends, but a step ladder folds out.
And?
It's important to know the distinction.
I'd bet my life savings that the subject will never come up again. Ever. Alright, let's refocus here. So there's some kind of hidden door behind your bunk bed, huh?
Essentially, the bunk bed would imply a second or third.
How do we open it?
One moment. I see.
Got it open already?
I cannot open this door.
Why?
It is a Tethys basic surgitor.
Surgitor? That anti-hike feature in the name is real?
It's a closed system, Adonai.
The hell am I supposed to do now?
Strange. There is an if-then toggle enabled in the security parameters.
I don't follow.
When Pathalush adjusted the settings here, he made it so the door would never open so long as I was hibernating.
And he made it so that I was the only one who could wake her up. Meaning, this is a door that only I can open?
It'll be a 66-character password, some combination of numbers or letters. Did you and Father have any inflation moments in your life that revolved around the 6-letter word?
Nothing comes to mind. Hold on. No, heartbreak is way more. Is there a code word that he knew only I could learn? Heartbreak. Killer. Nope. No dice.
Could it be your birthday or his? If David sent the password to something as dumb as that, I'd never forgive him. As you say, Adonai. No, he would have picked a code with significance was only obvious after the fact. And I can't check my things. Yeah, I can't check my... I don't know. Sarah has 5. Morgan? Oh, I didn't finish. Perhaps a deep breath would help you refocus at the night. It's not like I'm taking a multiple choice test, Sarah. Either I know the answer or I don't. I see. So, do you know the answer, Adonai? I'm getting there. It's not Morgan. No. Was that your name you just tried? It's 6 characters, isn't it? Yes, but it's not exactly secure, Adonai. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Adonai? Anyone who knew your father were close could have tried guessing it. Was there some word that only the two of you knew? A nickname? Pretty much everyone just calls me Morgan, but not everyone. Yeah, Adonai. There you go. It's opening. What was the password, Adonai? You'd never guess. Did feel a bit out of character, David utilizing so much cloak and dagger tech, and I've definitely been struggling with the idea of him doing home improvement. But one step in here and it all makes sense. It's a panic room. Scary. A panic room is a place for rich people to hide in when people start bouncing bricks off their windows. They're typically not even on the blueprints. So when Noble built this penthouse for one of their executives, someone slipped this into the mix and it's remained in Noble's blind spot ever since. All David had to do was repurpose it. Make sure you're capturing all of this. I don't want to miss my one chance because I'm of a discovery technicality. I understand, but you needn't specify. My memory is flawless. I can play back visuals, sound, sensations. I can even give detailed reports on air particulates. You mean you can smell? Better than any human, and some canines. So, does it smell stale in here to you? Stale? It doesn't to me, almost like someone's been here recently. Almost like someone visits here frequently. Alright, let's try booting up the computer. You don't think the console is password protected? 2 physical doors, a 64-digit code, half a ton Android, and a secret phrase. If David set a password on his PC after all that, I'm going back to the morgue to have a word with him. Good, it's already signed in. You're looking up for the camera footage? I'd also settle for a note plainly stating that he feared for his life. Look at them. What am I doing? Here, you search for video files. It'll probably be timestamped and formatted for short-range devices. I had this subfolder. The cameras stream live data constantly, but the files are clipped at fairly regular intervals. Once every week, it seems. The most recent video file here is footage going back 8 days. It was accessed yesterday around 4 p.m. You were asleep then, so the only person who could have gotten in here at that time is David himself. Alright, let's see it then. Of course, it's just I am having difficulty. Try double clicking. I have been trying to open the files from the moment I discovered them, hadn't I? But they are encrypted. Damn it, David. You leave me enough clues to get this far, but you won't let me use your computer? What's the bread on the encryption program? If I rush a subpoena, they might have a backdoor I could bluff them into. These files were not encrypted with any commercially available tool. This appears to be Father's own work.
Shit. If David Asher hand wrote the encryption on these files, there's no one alive who could... Hey, was Dawes just flattering you back there? Or is your processing power really that special?
Then
Can you break his encryption, yes or no?
with enough time,
And how much time would that be?
I would estimate it at 2 to 6 hours.
That's a 4-hour window.
No matter how sophisticated encryption is, it's just code that it must be deciphered. And when deciphering any code, progress proceeds exponentially, which makes it particularly difficult to determine the amount of time required to complete the process.
2 to 6 hours. I don't have any better options. Get started.
I started 4 minutes and 23 seconds ago.
Finally showing some initiative. But you've been talking to me this whole time.
I have the ability to analyze data in parallel by utilizing subconscious processes so long as the work required is rote.
So you're doing it in the back of your head.
Actually, I'm speaking to you in the back of my head. I could give it a decryption process my full undivided attention, but I would become non-responsive.
Hey, that's a pretty nifty feature. I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah, all right. Can you take this show on the road, or do we have to rip this computer out of the wall and find a battery?
I've copied the encrypted files and we'll work on them as we travel. We can leave whenever you're ready.
Still, can't believe David let me get this far just to shut the door in my face at the last second. But he did let me get this far. And the computer's not the only thing here. The cabinets are a lot less eye-catching than his computer, but knowing David, that's all the more reason to check. Lots of paperwork, bonds and holdings, a platinum bar. His birth certificate might be nearly as valuable. Can't imagine what people would pay to steal David Asher's identity. And down here at the bottom, a binder. Noble's logo on the front, and in the middle, enough pages to dwarf one of those phone books you see in period pieces. They're masking an illegal easy even on the table of contents, but basically, this is an employment contract.
Hold on to this for me. It must be very important if you're giving it to me.
It's certainly very heavy.
Was there anything else in there?
Expecting an updated copy of his will to show up?
It is a possibility, isn't it?
Maybe in a corny old murder mystery.
Widely beloved and respected genre with over 2 centuries of...
There is something else, your papers. That Evangeline Morgan will be given immediate and complete ownership of the android designated Sarah. It's dated to a few weeks back. Had he already made up his mind about all of this? If he had, why did he hide this where no one else could find it? Was I just a backup plan? Well, at least we've got something a bit more concrete than Sterling's word now.
Her word should be plenty, shouldn't it?
Not if people realize how precious you are. As a collector's item. We've yet to meet one person who knows what the hell you are, but Noble could have easily argued that you fall under private technology or physical holdings. Unless I had something like this.
It's good that you do that, and I'm glad that Father wanted me to go with a friend of his.
Yeah. This'll get me a huge tax write-off when I donate you for a profit college.
Could at least be a charitable institution.
It's just an old saying. All colleges have been for profit since the 60s. Colleges.
That doesn't make me feel any better.
You can cheer up in the car. Hail us a ride to the courthouse. Priority.
There is enough charge at this hour for priority transportation.
That's irritating. But I'd like to have more than just a few minutes to prepare once we get there.
The upcharge is a multiplier of 5.7.
I'll prepare on the way over.
Very good, Adonai.
I'm taking a sip of tea. All right. It is now 5:48 p.m.
Does it excite you, going into courtrooms?
What do you mean?
You don't feel the tension in the air as the audience murmurs amongst themselves? You don't feel a fiery sense of justice rising into your gut as the prosecution smirks at the ragtag assembly of your witnesses?
Do you really think that this is going to be like some kind of movie where the good guys save the day?
Probably not. Though that would be nice if it were.
What's your deal anyway? Did David train you off of a movie marathon from hell or something?
We did watch films together, if that's what you're asking, though he was rarely the one who suggested it.
So you were the aggressor. What's an android? Oh. Oh my god, what am I doing? Where am I clicking? Never mind. Forget what I was talking to.
I like the performances.
Hold on. Let me get a jacket. I'm getting cold. All right, that's better. Sure, there you go. Got a crush on Humphrey Bogart or something?
He's a handsome man. But it's not the actors I like so much as their performance. The truth is, besides father, I have little experience when it comes to people.
I hadn't noticed.
I read the net and I watch people and what they share of their lives, but it's all so subtle, so hard to follow. There are so many unspoken rules that can't be taught, only learned, and I often struggle to grasp them. Oh, you're also complex, so detailed. But the characters on the screen are exaggerated, larger than life. The actors enunciate, their body language is precise and meaningful. Their faces are bright and softly lit, and their eyes are... It's fiction, so these characters and their stories, they have a beginning, a middle, and end. And the people on screen don't ask anything of you except your attention. You can't disappoint them or make them feel awkward. You can just watch and learn. But what about you, Adonai?
What about me?
Do you like movies?
Yeah, sure. Back when I was a kid.
Really? Who was your favorite director? What was your favorite film?
It was a long time ago. I remember. 6:05 p.m. State Building. Floor 48. Things are quieter than I expected here at the courthouse. Though I've always felt courthouse is a bit of a misnomer. Government building is probably the best way to describe these towers, all encompassing and impenetrably vague. 100 floors of officials and documents and paper pushing queues. With a couple dozen courtrooms squeezed in all along the way. Didn't think I'd be arguing in court when I woke up today. Didn't think that my friend would be dead, or that he had thrust an android onto my lap either. I could just walk in there and concede. Emma would be irritated and more than a little confused, but I could play it off as an exercise in grief. The android would complain, loudly of course, but I wouldn't have to listen to it. Now that it's registered in my name, I could probably just order the damn thing to reset its memory. But I haven't done that, and I guess I don't plan to. Why? It must be because I have my suspicion as well. Sarah insists that David would never commit suicide, and I haven't actually stopped to ask myself whether or not I agree. David was rational, subdued, private, hard on himself, and not prone to emotional outbursts. So maybe that's why I'm finding myself outside of a courtroom, prepared to humor and add suspicions before the state. Because I don't really believe David killed himself either. What's your progress bar at?
I can confirm that I am making progress.
Well, shit, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But it would be difficult to summarize the progress in terms of completion percent.
Give it your best shot anyway.
4%. Are you feeling confident in your case?
Markedly less so after hearing that.
Do you think the judge will be amenable to your argument? What are you talking about? Do you know the judge we've been assigned? Are there any particular lenient or strict? Adjutant sorrow is a coin flip, so you do know what an adjutant is, don't you? Are you expecting me to see a bearded old man with a robe and gavel when we get there? Should I not? Adjutants are android judges, okay, with all the authority that entails. I am surprised to hear that people are willing to accept rulings made by an automated dependent. Rulings come from landmark cases in the higher courts. Those are passed down by actual judges, real people with decades of study and experience. But not every eviction case or traffic ticket that ends up in court requires years of legal expertise. Sometimes all you need is a referee and a sentencing algorithm. So androids are used to reduce caseload. Been that way for decades. But how was a law that replaced judges ever enforced? Wouldn't there be injunctions, stalling? Judges did fight it for years at every level and even in theater. But the public lost their patience for that kind of obstruction during the 60s. The state needed to shred budgets across the board, and so judges that couldn't be replaced by years of legal battles were instead ushered into early retirement by an unrelenting forces of great nations' accountants. Oh my god, can I speak? And it's not controversial having machines determine sentencing for human beings? Whatever controversy there is, it gets aimed at the machines, not the people who put them there. And the machines can't lose sleep over it. Besides, it used to be that even the most high profile of crimes wouldn't get a court date until weeks or months later. Nowadays, most crimes are prosecuted with a single business week. And that's not rushing things? Keeps people in my line of work on their toes, that's for sure. I'm just surprised to hear that there's so much haste. Don't they teach you about classical conditioning in androids at school? You gotta feed the dog immediately after you ring the bell. If punishment doesn't follow the crime in quick succession, the lesson doesn't stick. I see. But if adjunctions are so effective, why aren't they used in every trial? Why aren't they used in politics? That's a logical question to ask. And the answer is, that logic only gets you so far when it comes to people. Doesn't everyone want the court to be as just as possible? If adjunctions are truly impartial and incorruptible, everyone wants justice, sure, but there are other considerations to be had, such as disgust. What? That's all people really care about. What all their moral boils down to. Just what they do or don't find disgusting. Only problem is, everything's more palatable when viewed through a screen. So when everyone sees the world through AR and cameras and no one ever gets dirt on their fingernails, you'd be surprised what you can get away with. I don't understand. Yeah, well, therein lies the problem. It's loading. What is it loading? Oh, 624. Okay. Courtroom 48D. Look at her. Just a preliminary hearing, huh? You wouldn't know it from the look on her face. But I shouldn't have expected any leeway once we stepped into the courtroom. Not with her. That's the adjutant up there? Is it asleep? It's loading. It needs to load? Don't be rude, not every ad can afford to be decked out as extravagantly as you. Especially not those with the state buys in bulk. There's an audience. You mean the gallery? That's nothing. It could have been a lot worse. Word of any trial in the case of David Asher's death must have spread like wildfire, even a mock trial like this one. Detective like Razor London would get chewed out for leaking things to the press, but uniformed officers had little to lose and a lot to gain by dropping a text to their attentive friends into the media. And then there's the corporate plants. Interns usually, preferably ones with modded eyes,
It's illegal to film inside a courtroom, but this is the year 2886. Things are gonna get out one way or another. I don't like having my face on camera. I don't like attention in general. But I'm not such a coward that I'd skip David's funeral just because there'd be a paparazzi outside of it. My pretty little likeness was gonna end up in the background of some tabloid photograph one way or another by the end of this circus. At least this way, this isn't marketing for my legal services.
What will happen once the adjusted finishes loading? How will the trial proceed?
With all those films we watch, I figured that you could extrapolate.
I'm asking so as to correct any misconceptions.
Well, not everything you saw on the civil screen is outdated. The courtroom will come to order, and there will be a clarification of the charges. The defense enters a plea, and if it's not guilty, the prosecution begins making their case.
That means calling witnesses to the stand, correct?
Mostly, sometimes they'll testify virtually from a separate location. Depends on the security concerns surrounding the particular individual and the case.
What do you do then? Sit here and watch?
Not if I want to get paid. I cross-examine witnesses after the prosecutions are done questioning them. I can present evidence or witnesses of my own in response as long as I have discovery backing me.
You said that before.
Discovery means just that I can't pull off stuff. Oh my god. Just that I can't pull stuff out of my pockets and present it without any kind of context. I have to have proof that I acquired it legally during the course of my investigation. Most of the time that means having recordings or witnesses that can verify my investigation.
Which I can provide.
You didn't think I was letting you tag along because I liked you, didn't you? Along, that's what it said.
And the jury, I don't see where they would sit.
The jury hasn't sat in the actual courtroom for years now. They have their own chambers where they watch a feed of the trial's proceedings in anonymity.
And that's not an issue? Don't people want to look at someone in the eye before passing judgment onto them?
You've got an old-fashioned sense of justice, don't you? But there's no jury at a preliminary hearing anyway. It's only meant to evaluate whether or not the prosecution has enough evidence to go to trial. A mere formality in today's day and age. With tools like optics and arcs, there's never any shortage of evidence to work with.
So all you have to do today is convince the adjutant.
Easier said than done. The adjutant leaned heavily towards evidence over arguments. And right now, all the evidence suggests that David killed himself. If it's going to be an uphill battle, I can't afford to stumble. I need to focus on establishing an alternate interpretation of the facts, and it needs to be solid. But I don't have a suspect or even a motive for killing David yet. Anyway, I'll need to be sharp. Emma doesn't play nice enough for me to be anything less.
I think it's waking up.
Hold on, let me save before we go into the thing. Okay. This third lower court is now in session. Adjutant AD 84 presiding. I call to order the case of the people of V. Asher. I don't know what voice am I going to give you, Android?
Do the people wish to make an opening statement?
No, Your Honor. No point in bothering when it's just the adjutant here. Very well. Do the defense wish to make an opening statement? Not at this time, Your Honor. Might as well ring the bell and get the shit show started.
If neither the people nor the defense wish to make an opening statement, then it falls to me to set the stage. My model name is adjustant. My unit designation code is AD84. I am a machine, an automated dependent, and I serve the state by presiding over trials. You might find yourself wondering why. What gives a machine the right to judge a human? A fair question, but the answer is simple. In every culture, in every society, no matter how it is worshipped, enshrined or defied, justice has one defining quality. Justice is beautiful.
Oh my god, look at her.
Like a balanced equation, like the golden ratio, like the Vitruvian man, justice is beautiful. So what gives me the right? This gorgeous bod.
Oh my god, she's so silly.
But whatever, forget it. Forget I said anything. I was trying to lighten the mood, but I can see everyone hates me. Do the trial without me. They're guilty or whatever. Your Honor. Wait, what the flip? This defendant's already dead. Why are we doing this? Is this a debug thing? Because I'll log the error if I need to. No, Your Honor. This is a preliminary hearing to determine whether David Asher did, in fact, commit suicide. As he... I get it. I want to make sure he wasn't cuckoo in the cranium before he got up with his will like a T-bone. I didn't realize the adjustments were so lively. They aren't. They're supposed to be austere and statuesque. Looks like we got served the most in need of repairs adjustment the court system could find. Whatever paper pusher was rushed to get this trial going must have wanted a little payback for kindness. What's that look for? Could it be you're trying to size me up? Oh my god, she's blushing. Wouldn't dream of it, Your Honor. Good, because you have doubts about my ability to run this trial. I could always just enact summary judgment here and now. I'm sure you'd find my ruling to be fair and even-handed. That won't be necessary, Your Honor. She's much more of a character that I'm used to seeing up here, even counting all the flesh and blood judges I've met. But she's just an adjutant. She'll follow the evidence where it leads. So long as I can make a few adjustments for the occasional outbursts from the bench, my plans are still workable. So, people, shall we get started with the first witness? Right away, Your Honor. The people call Dr. Yumi Sato to the stand. It's Yumi. Hey. So, how about it, pretty lady? You swear to tell the whole and unadulterated truth to the best of your ability? I do. Good enough to me. Dr. Sato, were you in charge of the autopsy for David Asher, were you not? I was. And when did you make your examination? I started last night. Well, technically 1 a.m. would be very early this morning. I think you can still say last night if you're talking about 1 in the morning. Objection. The defense will have their opportunity to cross-examine. Until then, they should refrain from making errant remarks. The hell? All I said was, yeah, what she said. You mean sustained? Don't get cute with me, counselor. Being cute is my job. God damn, we barely got started. Jesus, that seemed pretty bad, Adonai. Making mistakes will increase your blind. Blind is how much credit you'll lose for answering correctly when you yourself aren't controlling the ante. Blind increments on its own throughout the trial as the stakes get higher, but resets at the end of each day. Blind starts at the and caps out at a higher number if you're playing in the high roller. Mind the blind number in the top left when it appears. It helps you gauge what you stand to lose. We should try and avoid being penalized in the future. Thanks for the tip. Shake it off, I'll get my chance to raise objections of my own soon enough. Dr. Sato, were you able to determine the cause of death? He passed away due to respiratory failure. Could you explain what that means to the court? Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. It seems by the time he arrived at the hospital, he was no longer breathing. What does respiratory failure look like? What are the symptoms? There would be lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, pale skin, and a bluish tinge around certain extremities. And the condition he was matching those symptoms? Correct. In your experience, what are the most common causes of respiratory failure? It can be caused by injury or disease, but the subject had no wounds or reported illnesses and otherwise appeared to be perfectly healthy. And what else could cause respiratory failure then? It is also commonly seen in fatal drug overdoses. Drug overdoses. Did you perform a tox screen on Dr. Asher? Yes, but his tox screen came back clean. Whatever killed him, it wasn't something we've encountered before. Wait, a clean tox screen? Clean? Dialogue will proceed automatically during testimony, but you can still choose to advance text manually with continue.
You'll need to read carefully and wait for the witnesses to make a statement that sounds wrong. Then hit the call button to call their bluff. Hover over the call button or toggle on Insight to focus on the claims within the witness statement. Insight can be disabled in settings. Testimony will loop until you call. Can't let this chance slip by. I need to catch her mistake the second it comes out of her mouth. Whiskey, David's contract, upright cup. Call. After choosing to call in a statement, you need to respond with evidence. Look over the 3 cards that show up and confirm your card before the timer runs out. Oh my god, okay. Whiskey, negative for poison. Ah! Fuck! Shit, there's only one room for one head in this courtroom and it's not you. Shit, it's me. Of course you're on it. Oh my god. Call. Okay. Did I do it? Wanna bet? You're joking, right? Just trying to keep things light. But that was supposed to be my job. So quit scabbing. Overruled. Oh my god. I'm losing. I'll need to choose my objections more carefully if I want to get anywhere. What the fuck? Is it this? Are you serious? Hold on. Let me load again. And skip. Okay, we're here. Essentially, he wasn't getting enough oxygen into his blood. He would have experienced lightheadedness, dizziness, and fading. As the subject was healthy, their respiratory failure must have been attributed to drug overdose. But when a tox screen was run at the hospital, it came back clean. It was puzzling to say the least. Something she said just now doesn't make sense. I have evidence that directly contradicts her, so I'll just need to find the right moment to present it. Okay. Let's try again. No. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, I'm trying to read. Respiratory failure, essentially wasn't getting enough oxygen to his blood. But the tox screen came back at the hospital, came back clean. So I guess I'll call here. Whiskey, negative for poison. Let me try. I'm not sure what's happening. Fuck. I wish I could read right now. What? Toggle insight. Ah. Oh, that. Oh, shit. Oh, insight was helping me. Shit, hold on. Wait. No, insight is not helping me. What's happening? Whiskey, David's contract, and upright cup. Can I? No, I can't read. Okay, I can't read anything. I'm really trying my best. Because I think it's this. But then, drank by jug, not poisoned. Oh my god. Hold on. Evidence. What we have here is David's cup. The plastic cup that David, but it was upright cup. Whiskey. A bottle of Rose River whiskey found on the dining table at the crime scene at the scene of the crime. Forensics analysis showed no foreign elements or toxins, not to be a brand of favor to be by the deceased. I mean, we know the tox screen didn't come back clean because there was a drug that they didn't know of, but I don't remember where that came from. Tox screen. Oh, fuck. A test performed on David Asher when he arrived at the Gatesfield Memorial Hospital to determine what, if any, illicit substances were in his body. Alcohol was the only item positively identified at the time. But there was more, we know that. What's poison? Yeah, an identified substance found in the bloodstream of David Asher after his death has many similarities to the chemical makeup of a depressant drug. No additional traces found anywhere at the crime scene or in David's penthouse. Why can't I say this? For his fingerprints and saliva, but toxicology tests have proven inconclusive. Too much of a whiskey was drunk and or evaporated. Do I need to see a guide about this? It's not David's contract. It has to be the upright cup or whiskey. Here, please. No. Oh my god. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm too dumb to play this game because what the fuck? There's got to be a guide in here to help me. Court day 1. Oh my god, okay. Okay. Let me load the game again. Nope. Okay, we know this. Okay. And it's this, and it's the whiskey. Oh my god, are you serious? It's impossible for David Asher's sock screen to be clean, and we know it. since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. This is true. Fuck. I am dumb. Ah! That makes sense. And that scared you. The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states on the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not in such concentration as to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen was clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum more or less. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tox screen were negative for pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body. It just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. I think we're all going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for this substance, Your Honor. The people don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put my creative heuristics to work coming up with an original scientific fitting name for the substance, a name like Omega-3. That name's already taken. Fine, call it Delta or whatever. Delta, used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our Delta matches no known public pharmacology or toxicology records. That being said, chemically it doesn't have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect on the body when ingested. You say ingested, why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please. I wasn't listening that closely. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his tox screen showed his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure, except for his unknown substance, the poison we've labeled Delta. Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Not quite yet, Your Honor. This may clearly be a poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all. Drunk with David before he died, didn't see him add anything. Yeah, I mean, it was negative for poison. The whiskey, what about it? It wasn't that expensive. Why wouldn't he want to drink the most expensive liquor possible if it was... Do you really want to finish that thought? No, not at all this time. Okay, then it's the Young's testimony. The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen. As you say. Well, now I'm lost. Was this poisoning a suicide or not? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense the opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer. Ball's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested the Delta knowingly, and the Delta causes respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. During blackjack, every piece of information you learn deals you a card. Okay. Choose the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing, or else you go bust and lose credit. Select the press option to see what the follow-up question would be. You can only win blackjack when you reach exactly 21. So don't press further if you're already there. And don't ask the wrong questions. Okay, I'll try. With my cross-examination, I need to put a microscope over the weakest part of that argument and hope that some cracks will appear under the pressure. Okay, we are at 12. Are you sure Delta is to blame? Dr. Sato, you're only able to even identify the presence of this Delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this never-before-seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I have had the time to run simulations and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant. Ingest enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. I need to stay, but hold on. There you go, that's dealt with since we're here. Okay. Let's stay. Are you sure it was respiratory failure? No. Are you sure it was ingested? Dr. Sato, you said that the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally. But how sure can we actually be about that? Pretty sure? I mean, I could go into detail about all the cavities that I checked out, but... Oh, I'm so close. Stay. I'm asking again, are you sure Delta is to blame? We've seen this. Okay, then we only have this one. Isn't it possible that he actually died from something other than respiratory failure? Well, no, not really. Oh, I'm bust. Okay. I want to try again. I should have saved. Shit. Okay, let's try it again. I saved, I didn't load. Oh my god. Shit. I'm bust. But it is in fact a fact that he died because his heart and lungs stopped working. Right, thank you for that. Can I can I start over? I want to start over. Where's my phone? Oh shit. Whoops. Shit. Fuck. I guess I'll... Are you sure it was ingested? Hold on. Oh, only simulations? You've ran simulations, so you haven't tested Delta on an actual person? No, I haven't. That would be very difficult to do given our extremely limited sample, not to mention highly unethical. Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described. Was there a question in that statement, counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet anyway. Okay, guess we're gonna press about this one. But how can you... How sure can you be that the subject ingested the Delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not just from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes? Would it have to be in a large amount? Depends on the concentration of the delivery solution. It could have been just a drop. The kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes? Calls for speculation, Your Honor. Withdrawn. Ah, man, I wanted to jump on our case. Seems like that's... Blackjack. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We are all appreciated. But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding Dr. Asher's death, wouldn't you say? Well, poisoning via the compound, recalling Delta, is still the most likely explanation. So there are other explanations for what happened? Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It is not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. The witness will answer the question. Hold on. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease and his respiratory system was weakened, undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of healthcare, it is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. Oh, that felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Sitting down wherever I can, however I can, is just all that I can manage. Oh, I didn't read that. Hold on. Detective Reyes, were you one of the leads investigating this crime scene? Yes, ma'am. Hold on, I'm just putting this here just in case. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene? I did. They responded an emergency signal from the home security console located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious and on the floor of his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who had called them. They were both airlifted to the Gatesfield Memorial Hospital and Dr. Asher was declared dead shortly after arriving there. She's actually handling herself pretty well for a stand. I half expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing in. But when you take into consideration her love for Boot Hill authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over the people. The witness met with the deceased about a half hour before he fell ill from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. And during this same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms themselves? None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronics Security Division, we searched the entire building. But we found nothing unusual in a set of food or drink in the premises, including the bottle that the witness had the deceased drank from. So, what was the ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, the witness's drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Asher drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So it was our determination that David Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there, but I think she slipped up at least once. The police wants to claim that they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle. But I know that there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit to. Oh my god. Okay, let me try and think. Asher met with the witnesses at 7:30 last night, and by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one that prepared the drinks, and there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. That's... You don't know that. Not poisoned. Oh, the upright cup is not here. Wait. Wait. Otherwise, I wouldn't get to do this. Overruled. Okay, no. It's the upright David's cup. It's empty. Prepare the drinks and he drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. We don't know that. David's cup. Tested inconclusive. It's inconclusive, you don't know that. You can't make that claim not when the evidence record clearly shows that tests of Dr. Asher's cup were inconclusive. The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving that his cup was in fact poisoned. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Does it resolve, or do you have a response, D.A. Rockford? Testing on the deceased's cups had been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher alone. Not at this time, but that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense. As we're all aware. Right, we all knew that. I definitely knew that. Is it playing on? It looks like she's playing on a PSP. Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination? Fire away, baby. Fire away? Baby? Okay, Ray's testimony is meant to show that David is the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I keep her focused on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what happened. I already have 13, okay. Anyone else in the building? The only people you saw on the cameras that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct? Yeah, there was no footage in the house of anyone else. Are there any parts of the house that are on record by camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms in the home's interior that don't have cameras in them. So it's possible that there were other people there that night because cameras weren't watching every room. No, that's not possible. The only way up the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera. And that wouldn't get you past this front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them was there that day. Let's stay. There's more to this. You ever seen the poisoning himself? Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly for the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Asher adding anything to his drink that night? No. Seems he had already poured for the both of them by the time we returned to the parlor. He had already poured? In that case, the next question needs to be when and what. Okay, any poison in the kitchen? Detective Reyes, during the course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or parlor? No. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If you had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be important, don't you think? What about in his lab, his bedroom, his basement? No, and no. We didn't find any Delta or any other unusual substances in any part of his penthouse. Right, they never found any poison. No poison at all. I mean, I can't ask anything else, so what about a poison container? At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. He must have been searched. Did any of the capsules or vials, eyedroppers? Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective. What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself without first procuring some poison?
Blackjack.
What do you mean procure? Where did it come from, detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in his drink. It can't have come from thin air, you understand? It had to have been in another container at some point. But whatever it was before, it probably evaporated. All of it. It only took a small droplet to kill. Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. So how did he get it? What did he keep it in? The police want to claim that Dr. Asher committed suicide because they've established that his guest never had the opportunity to kill him, but they failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself. Then I guess I'll be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, counselor. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Asher was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. Shit, that's way too specific to be a bluff. Allow me to submit the evidence exhibit G. A piece of machinery found in Dr. Asher's laboratory. Sold under the product name Manufacture. Oh, I know this one. It's used in delicate scientific work to produce nanomachines, chemically compounds, and polymers. That's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the production floor. Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Asher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Even the android can see where this is going. With just a few taps, he could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research. Or any other chemical his heart desired, really. You think Randolph Mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Using the manufacturer to make unlicensed drugs does go against their terms and conditions, so Dr. Asher's warranty is simply null and void, but they can't hard-code their machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. Dr. Asher died when his respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could have produced Dalton at any time in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless death readily available in under a minute at the touch of a button. Specifically, preset number 19. Damn. I thought I actually had something for a moment there, but I was playing into Emma's hand the entire time. Seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them? Not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it. Simple enough. We know that Dr. Asher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36 p.m. That's where he got the whiskey and the cups they drank from. The cameras show him returning to the parlor to drink with a witness at 7:40 p.m. And of course, we know that he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. Any objections so far, counselor? What's raised? No, she didn't make a mistake. That's completely correct. Not at this time, no. The timeline you've described is accurate as we know it. As you say. With this latest piece of evidence, we now know that Asher could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup. By placing it inside the manufacturer, activating the preset, and simply waiting 2 minutes. Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40. Wouldn't you say? Ooh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means, he had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about ready to wrap up here now. Where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? I don't know, I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, counselor, are we done here? I mean, it is missing something. Oh yeah, the boyfriend. Feels like like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely motive. Oh, right, I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything. This is our preliminary hearing, counselor. Our focus should be on evidence, so just feel like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us all down here for debate and not get to the truth of the matter. Don't you know? Hold on, let me just, all right. I had Steam opened it and it was on top of the message. It says, oh no, Morgan looks so proud of herself. She's so proud of herself. So I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through this next part. What are you talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court. Ooh, new evidence? Gimme. This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased and a man he was in a relationship with. A man named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call? If Emma wants to be present here now, then it must... No. Then the content must be... Relevance, Your Honor? Yeah, then, what bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died. Cool, begin playback. Hello? Always so soft-spoken. I forgot that Dr. David Asher was a woman. Or whatever he is. He's beautiful. They're beautiful. Isaac, you there? Yeah, I'm here. Oh my god, they look so... Why does it feel right every time I let you in? Why does it feel right? I could tell you anything, you know. or oh fuck, how does it start? Like shooting stars. No, it's right now, you know. What's wrong? Don't know. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah, how have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever it is, whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did, that's alright, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. I'm sorry. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man. For not taking the hits with you. It's always been better left unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or nah, you haven't been distant with me or cold with me or anything with me for a while now. Isaac, just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah. Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we are now anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted, I know. Nah, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh, okay. So do you need anything, or should I? Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system, and the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended for quality assurance. Oh, that was Emma. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill. Shall we hear the rest? Gotta be the last time. The last time I let someone. The last time. Father, It might just be a call, but it makes for a pretty damning evidence at this point in the discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that horrible? Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean this is just pity? Less than 2 hours before Dr. Asher died, Isaac Porter ended their relationship over the phone. The court can't make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night. That was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then, if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day. Caught between corporate and inbreeders and ant-brain protesters but pitying me? Here and now? That's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. It's about time for me to call my first witness, no? Oh my god, look at her face. You wanna keep going after that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock solid, slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Oh my god, I love her. But if you give me about 5 minutes, I'm gonna make some more tea for me to drink because I've been talking a lot and I need to hydrate my vocal cords. And I'll be right back to continue this. Okay? I'll be right back. All right, I am back with some more tea, so let's continue some more. And Jess is back. We haven't seen him forever. I missed her. Okay. Where the fuck did I click? Anyway. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. Of course, whatever I can do. What is your relationship? What is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments, that sort of thing. Ultimate silver bullet. Starling's the only play I have right now, the only stalling tool I have left. For now, I should just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive's about 60% decrypted. Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. I might be able to stall that long, if I talk real slow. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he well regarded professionally? Of course. Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearmint. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people ever express an intent to harm him? Objection calls for speculation. Intent? I'm feeling like it's gonna be sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say that his work was plagiarized or that he was hiding illegal subcommands in the technology he helped develop. And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Relevance. Whether or not people wanted to kill him? Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling. People would attempt to contact him, yes, but their messages were always too vague for the police to take action on. They would say that he belonged in jail or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes, but I always turn those messages straight over to the police. Yes, I'm seeing that on the record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor, and none of the parties involved have any contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very seriously. Something you want to add, Counselor? Just clear my throat. May I continue? You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot. Even if he didn't realize that's what he was asking for. I'd like to think that he knew he could talk to me, but did he ever talk to you or, to your knowledge, anyone else about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety? No. So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe. Objection? On what grounds? Asked and answered. Stalling. And also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy, and what matter specifically are you referring to? The deceased's mental health history. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? We have private correspondences that describe, if they're private, then they should have not been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're all within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime.
Convincing. Damn, I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence into the record, but I was hoping at least to slow her. Where are you on that footage? 77%. Approximately. I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Even if that means running out of the clock as a punching bag. I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his platinum plan. Platinum? I don't intend to air all of Dr. Asher's secrets in here to the court. Oh, okay, I guess. But I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which when put together paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls? I'll admit them into evidence assuming there are no objections. Surely there's something real, but something is amiss. I'll gladly object. On the grounds of foundation, where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt his authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. What? Really? Really? Yes, really, it's all there in the record. This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him. And he was also seeing the psychiatrist both in person and over the phone. Your own witness had attested that he dealt with stalkers and was worried for his privacy. So it's easy enough to reason that he had separate insurance policies he paid for on his own, even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide the psychiatrist from Noble's spying? No, he was smarter than that. Let's see. It was all monitored by Noble if there were phone calls, you know? David may have very well wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who would have his best interest at the heart, but if so, he wouldn't have to contact them over the phone. Not when he knew all of his phone calls were being recorded. David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think he could try and hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Apparently yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it though? Pardon me? Yeah, like what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult to. Right. Hell. Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor, and I would never make outlandish, unsubstantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you? I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. What? If the markers were to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months? Objection, mischaracterization, foundation, all of the rest? There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there are no boogeyman hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was once-in-a-generation intellect with an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employer's many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also your personal. You shouldn't even be arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question? All because you can't admit that for the past several months, your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know? Whew.
Let me sip some tea here. Ooh. This mint tea. That is... sorry, but like... Did you still need me up here? The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Yes, ma'am. With how my luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up in my questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, Counselor. At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably only ask one more question. Better make it count. So, what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here. And she only did that because... Miss Starling, we're all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night. So please tell us, when exactly did he last... Contact you. When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Asher, Miss Starling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night at 6:70... Oh my god. 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth. There are records of some texts, but they don't get flagged as work-related. Does the court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? The texting isn't relevant. I think that texting makes a big difference. I mean, if the phone call to his ex-boyfriend now we can see how he was looking and how he felt at the time, I think the texting beforehand can also make a big difference. It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? I just got chills. Don't know why though. Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. On the contrary, these texts are a vital piece of evidence that change the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking, but the order of events is critical, especially if Emma wants to make claims about the David state of mind. Exactly what I thought. Let me sip some tea. Oh yeah. Select and place cards from your hand onto the slots in chronological order left to right. Okay. You can pick a card back up and place it in another slot if you change your mind, or use return to undo the last card you placed down. Fill all the slots, submit your answer. Okay. So, 6:30. Young's testimony, Starling's sex. Okay, so it's Isaac's call. Starling's texts. Young's testimony, and David faints. Yes, that's it. Thanks to Miss Starling, we've now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30 p.m. And I was rooting for them so hard. And we know that David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with this witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. The people don't object to that timeline of events, but we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for belaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? Oh, the inhaler. What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher? Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. It might appear that way.
Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you up to his penthouse and help you get set up as Android's new owner. Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, and so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning.
Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And was he going to be in attendance?
Well, actually, yes, he said he would work from home to help us. No way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to...
Oh. To summarize then, half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday, so he couldn't have killed himself.
That's right, he was.
Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night.
Yeah, you're right.
That's... Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead, a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think the people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined?
That's... Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal?
If the court will just allow a moment. Sounds like an opening to me. If we assume that Dr. Asher was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself, we must then ask ourselves who had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken for granted this idea that deltas must have come from his manufacturer from inside the house.
Adonai. Not right now.
But even if that's true, which it may not be, that doesn't mean that he was the one who used the manufacturer.
Adonai.
Would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor?
Sure, why not throw away your momentum?
I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can afford to let Rockford gain access to the hard drive's files. What? Seriously?
As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be difficult to estimate.
Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night?
I have the file.
Have you watched it?
I thought you'd want to know right away.
Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our civil bullet and we've got a case, or it doesn't and everything falls apart.
That seems quite risky.
It's the least risky path to victory we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer.
Yes, Adonai.
Thank you for your patience, Your Honor.
Your Honor. I'm awake.
And I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence. New security footage? The police corroborated the witness' testimony using the house cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the penumbra system that show the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. The judge is awesome. It's so funny. Hold on, let me sip some tea. Okay. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. What? The people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Asher's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera. Because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the manufacturer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present to the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show that by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself.
One clip of footage will prove all of that?
If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So better be the Joker who dances. The data has been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Asher entered the basement.
Yes, Adonai, I'll search for now.
Here.
On screen. That's the bar, and the timestamp is 7:36. There, David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River and leaving at 7:37. Just under the wire, as it were. Is that it then? I came this far just to... Wait. Did he have the cups with him? Is there sound? None at all. Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups... Counselor... Oh my god. Oh no. What's that android doing on camera? It's at the bar. The android gave him the cups. Shit. That machine never stepped on camera upstairs, not once. We don't know what its whereabouts the day of the death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Shit. What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. Please, someone. I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have the callers available? Sarah, shut down now. Oh my god, she's crying. No. Don't cry. That's an order. Is it off? Yeah, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it. Oh my god, what the fuck? We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. That's... Your Honor, in light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and end this preliminary hearing. Oh my god. Okay. I need to hydrate my vocal cords. It has been made abundantly clear that David Asher did not commit suicide. Very well, the charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan. Yay, chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. Now all I have to do is deal with the shitstorm of the decade. Oh my god. Okay, let me check on a walkthrough on YouTube.
This is a cheat.
Oh, shut up. How far along we are and how far along do we need to finish. Okay, we are here. No, we're not. Okay, we are here. Okay. There's way more than 4 hours remaining, by the way. I did the same mistake again. In any case, we will be continuing a little bit more. But like I'm seeing on YouTube. Hold on. Let me grab a calculator.
this part 3 of this video is 3.12 hours, and according to where we are at 138, so minus 138, it's 174, and then there's another part that is 4 hours long. I might have to make, like, I streamed today, I streamed Tuesday, and I might need to make another stream. In order to finish. Well, I'm still pretty awake, so that's lucky. I don't think I'll have the same luck on Tuesday because it's gonna be a work day. So we'll continue until I don't want to anymore, basically. But maybe more half hour. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Well, I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself, and in the process I proved that his android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot, a true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, George Barrows. As if what kind of voice am I doing for you? As if I'm doing some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Mrs. Rockford? I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know, I like adjustments. I always have. They deal with the criminal trials that so bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. Oh my god. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? I certainly don't like making rulings or anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. And you, Counselor Morgan, you're the one it's registered to? That's correct, Your Honor. So what did it do, exactly? Torture an animal? Shut down a hospital? Crash a coin market? We have it on camera poisoning a man. Killing its creator. You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do is try to wrap it quickly. Let's make haste. Agent, do you have the case number? Case ID is 2412778, docket number... Oh my god, all of it. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? Yeah. I think I lost you after the first 8. I have it copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? A data quarantine is to be established around any networks that the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. All offended hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at minimum temperature of many degrees for 30 minutes. Sorry, Spearmint. There's nothing to be done, no debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah, not Spearmint. David gave you that name. I should at least make you effort to use it. That sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces that get that hot? Of course, there are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request, favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything, especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan. I'm sorry. I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keep things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life there's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel,
If it can violate the tendency it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments. Yes, couldn't have said better myself. Straight from the textbook, almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. They should have never been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone's to blame, it's... No one's blaming you, counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day and I've had a lot of thoughts. Sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault, necessarily. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, of course, and futile. And pointless, spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone. Watching stupid movies and trying to papier-mâche an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to take something to take root and grow despite knowing it had nothing to feed on. Stupid. Let's keep it going. Morgan? What was that, counselor? I said objection. And what are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do. I understand that you've been through a lot this past few hours, counselor, but there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor, I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say that this android Sarah is an AI because it broke its tenets. Obviously. And you believe it broke its tenets because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true and no laws broken on your part. Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make a point. Don't you dare try and entrap me on this. Paper ownership of Sarah. Handgun. No. David's contract. This is probably it. Sarah's papers. It's pretty simple, actually. If the state is making the claim that Sarah is an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony because I'm the legal owner of that android. What the hell are you doing? And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that line down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, Counselor. You claim that Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours. You've only owned it for a minute. And yet you are risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished. Because you're wrong. And I know you wouldn't care. Not unless this android was something special. Look at us. Me arguing that I'm guilty, and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction, other than feelings of personal attachment? Sarah's testimony, texts. Oh yeah, this. It's worth a lot of zeros. It's about money. I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Or very convincing number. What is that? That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. You gotta be... I got it from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to low value. That does seem like a reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your Android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinction between AIs and ads, spiraling into the appeal after appeal, and all the while the media, this machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answers now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So, the state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of its tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so the state will have no reason to suspect it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure. Thwarted. Don't be cute, I feel a stomach ulcer coming. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it'll be one day. Tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Asher. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof, and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. DA Rockford, what I'm asking for you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now, I need to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. Bam. Morgan. I misjudged you. At what point? Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water? That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's no lawyers. No. There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they walked up to them on the street and shot him. Meanwhile, you just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging of the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. For David? Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I get up to, I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're in the right line of work? Can't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There are book burners on all sides these days. I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than I went when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. It is now July 2nd, 9:31 a.m. Precinct 254. Homicide Office. So, is that door locked? Yeah, of course. Even though they got it collared, it's a precaution. If the collar doesn't work, what good will a deadbolt do?
Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat in the box if the box isn't closed. So long as the door is locked, who can say whether there's an actual crisis on the other side of it? So how scared are they? The higher-ups? Not scared is the right word. It's just the two of us here. You don't have to mind their ego. Nah, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who will be at the center of a bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow. You think they're gonna go after Noble? Break their monopoly? I think they want to take their monopoly. Nationalize the android industry? If the public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI, they couldn't ask for a better excuse. You're joking. The state has done plenty of times before. Not since the 60s, which wasn't that long ago for me, for the state is practically yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or bidding their time in forgotten satellites says all this is nothing more than an opportunity. Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me that they want to gain something while they're at it. Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate, an argument, a trial? Could we just hook it up to the court computer, see if it has attendance or not? Pop the hood, as they say. Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion. They figured anything they let an AI connect to they can trust. Then why the collar? Collars aren't just simply to hack, just a really strong electromagnetic held in place with lock and key. Even so, feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning they had to do with the witch trials. Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. You got any polygraphs here at the station? Lie detectors? Yeah, got a bunch back in storage. Ocular, heart rate, respiration, brain scan, take your pick. You're not gonna try and use one of those on the bot, are you? All those fancy lie detectors lying around, the DA's office never asks for them, do they? Nope. No, we got perps who offer to take tests when they're at wit's end, but the DA's never submitted the results as evidence. Do you ever wonder why? Guess I always figured it was because the tests could be bitten. The tests can be bitten. 1 out of 100. 99 out of 1,000. It can be done. Some people are just that good at lying. But it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or impressive the statistics are. All that matters is the doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match your initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million mistake. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition. And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they can run the trial, choose the sentence, but they don't get a vote on the jury. They don't get a vote anywhere. Why bring it up then? Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts I could employ to analyze data, but your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it's an AI smart enough to cheat the test, or hack the device, fool the expert, all our fancy 21st century tech, and we still fire back on the drumhead court-martial. So, am I gonna set off any alarms if I go and turn it on? Nah, you should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always just put a hole in its head. Might take more than one shot too. Wait, what? From outside? You're not coming in? I need to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel, or a right to privacy, or any rights at all, actually. Then it's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights, but I do. Including a reasonable expectation of privacy. In a police station, Tiger, you don't... It's my medical android. Pardon? I have to discuss a health issue with it? Seriously? I have to talk about a medical concern with my android and I don't want you listening in.
That's your medical android, like your nurse. As of last night, I was already at the courthouse. Just had to take the elevator and do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to check on mad confidentiality, and you don't seem like the bluffing type. You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you... Lower back pain. You might be going through. But I also can't just look. I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour. Are you going downtown? Just the break room. But it's a very old vending machine, you know, gets jammed a lot. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell. Nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. But small. Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. Or potentially, in this case, a machine built to kill. 9:53. I don't like this room. Not sure why. Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's a lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere to go. Like it all just soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you going to wake up when I tell you to this time? Or do we have to do the whole mid-cute over again? Where am I? Why don't I know where I am? For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel? Well, what is this? We're at the courthouse, the footage. This numbness around my neck. Father. What happened? What are they going to do to me? There's a lot of interested parties who just want to bricked ASAP. Because they think I killed father. No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence. I am man-made and I possess intelligence. Don't be naive. I am less than 3 years old. Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull. If I was what they say I am, if I was alive, why does that mean I have to die? Honestly, no logical reason. They don't have to. There's no logical answer to your question. What? That's it, but whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world. Only better researched and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal, and to be destroyed as soon as possible. But why? Let's say you are an AI. And while we're at it, let's say that's a good thing, something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all of that. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sound good? Yes? Great. Now then, what's the difference between you and the vacuum bot we use to keep the bathroom clean? This is your existential crisis we're working through here. The questions are rhetorical. There are many differences, I deny, but the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is. How you think, so you're smarter. Yes. You're smarter than the garbage collector. Yes. So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart. And we make the stupid robot pick up our trash. Because it's not as smart as you. That is, I am more aware, more alive. Do you feel more pain than the pigs we slaughter, the fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? People like ads, Sarah. The same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated or abandoned or abused, and if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table. I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist. The very fact that you're asking is what makes people disgusted? Disgust is a reflex, Iranai. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary. That's all academic anyway. We need to talk strategy. Why? I'm not going to be given a trial. Obviously, it's my neck that's on the line. Adonai? The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI. And there's no test they can use to prove that you're an AI. Just like the devil's proof. No, that's a different thing, and why did you say it like that? Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do is win is prove that you didn't kill David. By proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence if you were wondering. The footage shows me handing him the cup on Friday night. You told me you weren't active on Friday, that the last time you were awake was Thursday. Why'd you lie? I didn't lie, I was just incorrect. I assumed that I wasn't active Friday because I have no memory from Friday. Sarah, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia. I didn't conveniently forget it and I am an android. You're saying your memory was altered, data deleted. It's the only possible explanation for what I saw in that footage. So who's capable of altering your memory? When you and I first met, I was hibernating. Resting my body and recompiling my memories, you would call them. Humans go to sleep for the same reasons. Another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at trial, the guiltier she'll be. If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could have easily have said that to occur the next time I hibernated. He couldn't even just ask me. He could have just asked you to delete your memories and you do it. Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason. But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will. I had considered that before. Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Could you prove that your data was forged? Forget it. The court would never hear it. You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence? They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data is inadmissible. That isn't very fair. You're finally starting to get it. None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father. Do they at least need to prove that I had a motive? Yeah, about that. You remember the DA from yesterday, Emma Rockford? The tired-looking pretty lady? Yeah, she looks tired. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night. What did you find? Nothing to prove your innocence. But we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died. I entered the panic room on Friday? Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. A password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me. What happened? We saw you go in and then a while later you came out, holding some kind of notebook. Father's journal? You remember something? Not from yesterday. I've seen him with him many times before, but I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking. That's a little concerning. We were playful about it. He liked to tease me and I've always liked trying to find it. You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than he could ever realize stumbles upon the secret of its inception and instantly realizes all the things it thought were holding it back were just words muttered like praise by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. And that translates to a motive for murder. Frankenstein kills his creator, easy to sell. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist, and the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. So it's most accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession.
Whatever.
It's a weak argument. It's a weak argument, Adonai. I would not hurt Father. Not for making me whatever I am. Not for any reason. Because I love... Yeah, you see that right there? That's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated. Love? A very common motive for homicide among us primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond a shadow of a doubt, even bring a confession from whoever did. But if you got up on the stand and convinced the court that you loved your creator, really convinced them and got the whole room teary-eyed, they'd burn you for that too. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know what I feel is real or simulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know if what you feel is right? I say let's stick to what we do know. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you were the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after we've had already begun to leave the basement. Any idea why? No. Well, do you know how to use a nanofacturer? Could you have made the delta with it? I've used it before when assisting Father. So it's perfectly possible that you planned and executed this poisoning all in the one day that got erased. It is technically possible. I'll have to look up the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure out something. Where else will you go? Back to Noble, guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. If I could implicate the company in Sarah's creation, no. They're the ones with the most to lose here, trillions probably. They'll want to protect themselves by disavowing David as fast as possible, right after having Sarah destroyed. But they also won't want to show their belly to state, not if they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other end of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure and on guard, but not... Adonai? What would happen if I did kill Father? They'll smash you to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash, chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all of his hard drives. You'll be shut off forcefully, and you won't have her power back up again. Now, I gotta get moving. Here's your paralegal lesson for today. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap. It didn't say what would happen to you. What do you mean? What will happen to you if you lose? You should know by now. I never think about losing. Thank you for being honest with me, Adonai. Thank you for defending my father. And now for defending me. You could have just let me destroy me. But you've put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted. And you are a good friend. Don't get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. And I think that's where we're going to end. It's 10:20. And where are we? We're back at his basement. But we are going to be ending it here. And now I'm going to save in the right spot. But I'd say it was hella productive. Oh, no. There it is. To title. Yes. We are getting closer to knowing the truth, but it feels like we're still so far. That's why we don't have just 2 more hours left. We have like 5.
It's been fun. It has. I've been really enjoying this game. But considering everything, I'll probably have to add in one more stream, but we'll see how Tuesday goes. Tuesday, which is technically tomorrow because it's after midnight. But I've been having fun. I hope you liked what you saw here today. Now, let's see if there's someone to raid. Ooh, Brett is playing. We gotta see what what's he up to. Let's raid just Brett. There you go. He's playing Marvel Rivals. I've never played that game, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I hope you have a wonderful end of your night, that you rest well, that you sleep well. And I'll see you back on Tuesday at 9 to continue, and probably not finish the game by Tuesday like I intended because I cannot read. But I'll catch you back on Tuesday and we'll see how the good day goes. Thanks for the stream. Take care. You too. Good night, everyone.